¿Cómo estás? Buenos días, buen domingo.
Buen domingo, bien. ¿Y tú, Beto, cómo estás?
Bien también, todo muy bien. Aquí tratando de cachar los temas para esta entrevista que está muy interesante. Tenemos al otro lado del mundo nuestra invitada, Tatiana. ¿Por qué no la presentas un poquito más, David?
Sí, claro, pues tenemos de invitada a Tatiana Hopper. La conocí por sus videos en YouTube y la verdad que son como esas masterclass gratis que encuentras en YouTube. Y eso es algo que se aprecia mucho. Tatiana, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú cómo estás?
Muy bien, perfecto.
Vale.
Oye, pero es muy buen español,
Sí, es
Tatiana.
bueno.
Bueno, es que lo voy a hablar un poquito en español, porque mi papá me ha enseñado español cuando era niña, mi mamá me ha enseñado portugués, pues
Mm,
que ha hablado las dos lenguas,
ujú.
por casi 4 años. Después me ha olvidado un poco el español, solamente mm, en ciertas ocasiones, ¿vale?
¿Cómo está?
Eh, ¿Cómo estás? O hola, mi nombre es Tatiana, algo así. Mm,
No, pero
and
es bueno y lo entiendes muy bien. If you prefer, we can switch to English now.
it's kind of
If
like, yeah.
yeah, if it's I mean I know it's better for you, so we can do this in English. But your Spanish is really great.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you. I can try and like say a few things in Spanish during the interview, so I can kind of like remember, my Spanish roots
Yeah.
in a way.
yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Feel free to switch to Spanish whenever you want.
yeah, actually.
Okay.
Tatiana, I have a question. Um, for the beginning of this interview. Who is Tatiana Hopper and who um, how you describe your work?
Mm. That's a complicated question, I feel. It's funny because I posted a video yesterday and I talked about the importance of being artists and identity. And I feel that I still have a long way to go, but I know that I deal with a lot of mediums my channel, I show a lot of photography, but I do with other things like writing and stuff, which I'm quite excited to show when the time comes. So I wouldn't consider myself a photographer or a filmmaker or a writer. I guess that I could do it as say I'm an artist or I'm a creative person. I'm a creator. And so I would say that's probably easier for me to kind of like tie everything around and say like, I'm someone who creates with different mediums. And when it comes to my work, it's a lot about existentialist stuff, I would put it this way. A lot about loneliness, a lot about discovery. Say my writing is a lot about reflecting on humanity, who we are, what we see, what we do. And I think that's very important because we live in a world where it's so easy to come up with stuff and present it to people, and so easy to do things not looking so much at within ourselves, but seeking inspiration and just doing it. And I feel like it's very important as an exercise to create something, but looking within, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally makes sense. I mean, when you have this like creative drive inside you, it will come out in many different ways. So
Yeah.
like you I don't know what you mean, because you can't put a label in you like
Yeah.
I'm only writer, I'm only photographer, I'm only I
Yeah.
mean
For me, see, it's like this. I come from a family who they're not like, they're very creative, but like they have ingenious ways of using that creativity. But none of them is actually an artist or an art, you know, connected to art. Say my love for filmmaking comes from my granddad, who taught me so much about film. I grew up watching Charlie Chaplin with my grandfather, and I think that's gold. Great. You know, it's really great. And say with photography, I grew up and my auntie, she used to carry a point and shoot around, which I think it was a Yashica T4, by the way, I think. And we used to go everywhere and take photos. And so I learned a lot about the importance of capturing a moment in time. And then you have writing, which is, you know, when I was younger, I was a child and I had a lot of troubles communicating with people. Like it's really odd because now I do videos for YouTube. And so I talk with a lot of people, but like I was seriously antisocial. And for me, writing was a way of communicating to people. So I would write instead of talk to people, which is odd for a child to do that. But then that really brought me and taught me so much. And so these are three main things that I knew that I wanted to deal with the rest of my life. And I feel like I'm creative in these three different fields, at least, because of how they came into my life in very different circumstances and really helped me out in a way.
Yeah, I know what you mean, like perfectly, because I see it in my family like the same way. It's like a very practical way to be creative. Like it's like creativity applied to the common activities of the day. And I see that in my family as well. They're not artists, and maybe they cannot like it's not that they cannot appreciate art, but they're not like so
into the art.
So into art, like they're not critical. They're not like trying to argue about this film or this another film, but they can appreciate it, and they are like very practical with their creativity. Like
same
the way they cook, the way they speak, the rituals in the family, like. There's a very practical way to be creative, and that's awesome. It's the same in my family. Maybe David, it's like the same.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking around about in my house, and I'm looking at a lot of painters and photograph, and I don't know. My parents was very inquisitive to my sister and me to learn how to play an instrument, for example. So I went to the Bellas Artes school. That it's I learned piano, and my sister too. So actually the art it's always in a way in our life, but I don't know, maybe it's like we have so many different points of view of life, and we appreciate the life in too many ways, that maybe the art that my father it's very into, maybe I'm not. So it's, I don't know, art is a way to see
it's life. A very complex thing.
Yeah, it's a
very complex thing. Yeah, but actually it's funny because you were talking about like music and classes, and that brought me something. Like I also had like classics and classes in music in my background, but like I sucked so much. I was so bad that it's embarrassing. I was so bad. Like I remember my brother and I even had a band. We had a band, but we couldn't like, it was so bad, but like it was so creative, and it's really important to have that in life. Like I remember like I built like a drum set for my brother out of like plastic and paper and whatever, right? And I feel like even though none of us would ever become musically talented, I would put it this way, it was important to get creative with our hands. And I feel that as I grew up, I learned to, I look back at certain moments in my childhood and my life, and I feel like, oh, that explains a lot of why I see
Same
things
here,
this
same
way.
here, yeah.
Like certain experiences, and my brother and I are really, really close. And it's funny because he's a photographer as well, but he photographs like digitally with digital cameras and stuff. And recently he's like, "Oh, you know, you're becoming famous on YouTube, so you need to teach me that stuff now with film that you do." And I'm like, "What are you on about?" So he's like, "So I need to, when I go back home, I'll definitely like put a film camera in his hands and like enjoy photographing."
You should get him into film photography.
Oh, definitely.
He will be hooked. I know.
Yeah.
I know he will, because I actually am giving him my Pentax K1000, which is the camera that I started film photography with. So I thought, like,
me too.
It is great, isn't it? Like,
camera. Yeah.
It's so easy. And I felt like, you know, I want my brother to learn to have a similar experience. Like, it was easy to learn with a Pentax K1000. So I said to myself, even, of course, I'm emotionally attached to it, I don't mind it going to my brother, because I know he'll take care of it, and it's going to be super easy for him, like, to make the transition. And maybe he'll become like a gearhead, a film head, you know, like he'll become like all excited.
I'm sure about that.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, he will be hooked with film photography. And talking about film photography, Tatiana, what is the meaning of photography for you? Why photography? Why do you do what you do?
I think photography, it's honestly larger than life. Like, it's so much. You can't boil it down to being an art, to being capturing a moment in time, to being like pressing a shutter button, to, you know, it's so much. And I feel that photography came into my life really early, of course, but I sort of like let it go for a while as I was growing up. And then I picked it up around my teenage years. And it really made me connect with the world, in a sense, because I was documenting, I was experimenting, and I was doing so many things with photography that it became like a communication almost. Like, it became my, you know, like my counterpart. I could learn about myself through the photos that I was taking. Like, why did I frame this way? Why did I choose to do that? You know, and sometimes I guess that photography, like I said, it's larger than life. It's about learning about the world, about yourself. It's an art, but it's also, like, I would say in many cases, and for many people that I know, a way of a treatment almost, like a self, you know, it's a self-expression they find in something that can really help sometimes not to feel lonely or to feel more connected, or, you know, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like a dialogue with yourself.
Yes.
It's like talking to you in your mind, like framing, thinking about the light, thinking about, I mean, I've seen myself in many cases where I am planning or framing a photograph, and I just get lost in the moment, and I don't even take the picture, maybe not always, but I've seen myself like just contemplating the light, the scene, and like just talking with myself, and I didn't even take the picture, but I mean that
I totally get it. I totally get it. Like, say a couple of months ago, I think it was, I went someplace, and my intent was like, obviously I was photographing, but I thought it would be interesting to have something like film this and put it on YouTube. But then every time that, you know, that my friends were turning the camera, I couldn't speak. I was just like so in like my zone. Like, it's like you zone out of everything and everyone, and you just want to do it. Like, you're engaging in it intensively. And I felt like it was so difficult, and it is very difficult for me to kind of like, you know, I like taking photos, and then I'll talk about them after I've taken them, but like after a long process of like developing them and engaging with them. But like in the moment, I totally get what you're saying. It's like you lose track of time, of places, of people. You're just living it. And I feel like it's so crazy. It's great. It's one of the best experiences.
Actually, yeah. And sometimes you look someplace and you think, I will come back maybe tomorrow to take a photo of this place at this time with this sun. So you make the photography before you take the actually photography. So that's very, I don't know, maybe for me it's like magic. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, but it's funny because like if you're not surrounded by people that understand you, they'll think like you're crazy. Like sometimes I go, I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. You don't understand. Like the light is doing that, and people look at me like, what the hell are you on about? I'm like crazy. So like now I can unleash my craziness and be like, yes, like when you're seeing that place and when you're thinking like, I'm gonna go back tomorrow and the day after and the day before, blah blah. But like it's funny because like. It's funny because like it's just like when you find someone to talk about these things and like because in real life sometimes it's like you pass like a crazy person.
Actually,
so it's funny.
It is great. I mean, like that moment that we're talking about, that precise moment, that feeling. I don't know. I see your YouTube channel like that precise moment, because you get into like film analysis, photographers of film stocks, but that's the feeling that your YouTube channel like gets to people, and that's great. I mean, you're gonna do a great job you're doing a great job with your YouTube channel, and you're going further. I know. So
thank you. But I feel
thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. But it's definitely one of my main goals. Like the other day I saw a comment of somebody saying like they were calling me their friend, and they're saying like, I feel like watching one of your videos, I think it was the word, is like having a coffee chat with a friend. And this is exactly what I want to, because like I don't think it's like, it's just stupid. Like you sit in front of the camera and you just like, you're saying blah blah blah, this and that and you just don't produce with your words, with the way you present yourself, the set around you. You don't produce that sort of like feeling of like wanting to connect with the other person on the other end of the of the screen. And I feel that's why my videos, I could have easily, like, for instance, talked about William Eggleston and go from A to Z based on the research I did, but then there would be like 500,000 other videos on the internet. Like you can easily read an article and find out what I would tell you, but then you wouldn't find, say, a place where you could really look at a photo and think like, wow, this is like great. This is, I feel inspired by this. I feel inspired to look forward, to look for more, to look further. And I feel that's where I've been trying to concentrate more, which is like, produce videos, but not for the sake of like, talking about famous people, and certainly not for the sake of views, but for the sake of like really build that proximity to people. Like I feel, because most of my life, my love for certain areas like photography, filmmaking, like in my real life, like a lot of people that surround me are not passionate about those areas, are just like, they go about their lives with other things. And I felt like, in a way, if I could present myself as, exactly who I am and exactly the level of passion I have for that, it would eventually touch someone. And, I feel it's very important to contaminate people with, like appreciation, like,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Actually, I fell in your work because the video about Rembrandt, because I was looking something about Rembrandt, and it was so hard to find something about the light, a study of light of Rembrandt. So I was like, there is a lot of videos about Hopper and other painters, but for Rembrandt, it's very, very difficult to find it. So when I find it in your YouTube channel, it was, that's perfect because she's talking about something I want to learn in a way that I want to learn. So that's the magic part of your YouTube channel, actually.
That's cool because I feel like, I mean, like I said, I could sit and tell you all about Rembrandt, but I remember that video is like, it was a video that I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to do this. Of course, I don't have any like master's degree in like Rembrandt and classic painting. But I felt like, what if I just literally just kind of like appropriate myself of this concept of like, first of all, I'm going to introduce you to the Rembrandt lighting, but then instead of sitting here and give you tutorials about like how to place lights and whatnot, because I don't even know how to do that properly, I will just like wing it. I'll just like do whatever I feel like with composition, with lighting, however I can, and show people that you can do that without having like because all the videos, it's curious because you're saying that you were looking to know more about Rembrandt light. And when before I posted the video, I was actually doing a lot of research about it on YouTube, and a lot of videos came up, but it were just like, how to do it, but like with, multiple lights and like with the subject. And I felt like that's not really what I'm looking for because I don't have access to these sort of studio conditions and lighting. So what about if I wanted to learn and I have like a $5, like a lamp, or I don't even have a lamp. I need to use a natural light at window or something. How would I do it? So, I feel like a lot of people when doing videos and like a lot of, not just channels, I'm not saying anything in specific, but I feel like there's this, people really are out of touch with reality. I feel like, not everybody's going to be able to afford like $3,000, lights or settings or have access to studios or whatever it is. I feel like it's so important to just show a bit of yourself and show a bit of like your vulnerability by saying, here I am, I'm trying. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, cool. Learn with me to be cool. But it's just, I feel like we have to realize that, when you have some sort of type of audience, that audience comes from any background in the world, and then you need to treat and speak to everybody equally. Doesn't matter, of what they know, what they don't know, if they can feel this, if they can't, I feel like it's very important. And that's why you need to make content that reflects that you need to, be, it's sort of like this. By now I could have created like, say, a Patreon page and be like, donate this per month and I'll do extra classes or extra videos or support the channel in any way. And I feel like that's not right because, you should be able to connect with people. You should be able to show them what you've got to offer, despite of like, if they can afford it or not, or if wherever they come from or whoever they are. And I feel like, I don't know, I wouldn't also personally feel comfortable with that, if I'm being honest. And I just feel like a lot of people look at the profiting side of things instead of actually having a little bit more human warmth, if that's the right words for it. Like just show some appreciation for others at some point, not just because they're paying you, and not just because. And I feel that, it connects with this somehow. I don't know if I'm just like going around, but like, I feel like it connects.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's a very thin line, but I know what you're saying. It's like doing these videos and sharing this content and sharing this knowledge, because it is knowledge, what you're sharing. It is more like being empathetic with your audience, with everybody else, and sharing your experience, despite it if it's the best experience or like you said, that I don't have a master's degree in Rembrandt light analysis, but it doesn't matter because you have, Rembrandt lighting, for saying something, it makes you feel something, and sharing that, it's the important thing. And I think that is what your YouTube channel shows, and that's why I like it, and I know that's why most of the people come back to you to your videos when you post, and like, finally another video, a new video, and I know that feeling, that's the feeling you I don't know how to say it, produce, no,
like
evoke,
I transmit.
Yeah, transmit and evoke in your audience, and that is great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, I see it's very easy in today's world to fall in like a sort of place of detachment. Say, I could easily like pick up my phone. Oh, 600 views. It's not 600 views. It's 600 people that are watching you. They are taking out of their time to watch your videos. So the bare minimum you can do is, yes, build that proximity with them, reply to their comments, listen to what they want to tell you. Like, people that suggested so many video ideas. I wish I had all the time to do it. Like, I eventually will do them, but like, it's important to do that. And I feel it's just like, like I said, in today's world, it's all about like money, views, numbers after numbers. Like, how much does this cost? How much am I paying? How much, It's all about, we are reduced to numbers. I mean, if you go like, we have a social security number, we are a number, we have a bank account number, we have a gym membership number, it's all numbers. And I feel like there's something like in having so many numbers attached to our name that eventually will kind of like lead to us sort of, I don't know if this makes sense, but like kind of ignore like and become more detached of like reality, and like there's people on the other side of the screen, and and I don't know, I feel it's a strange, it might be like a philosophical conversation at this point, but I feel like the way we're going, like, it's all about prices and, and numbers, like I said. And I mean, I never liked maths anyway, and I never was good at it. Probably that's why.
That's why you hate numbers, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Like, it feels like almost the very human essence is being dissolved by these numbers. So it's a very cold way to
I feel like it's all about trends. Yeah, it's all about labels, trends, numbers. And I have a very, I don't know, I it's difficult for me to deal with this. That's why, I resorted to, making videos. I started my YouTube channel, and I invested more and more and more into things that make me more connected with the world that I live in, by doing photography, by doing videos about certain artists that, for instance, a lot of people have forgotten about, or maybe, about like certain subjects. And, just even though like I talk for a camera when I'm recording, I do have that sensation, like, I'm talking to people, and that really, in a weird way, it helps out. And I feel that it's very easy, like in today's world, to just like become more and more detached of like, if you see TV, right, and you see like there's been bombing somewhere, like, it's become so natural. It's weird, it's weird. It's strange. And that's why I feel like as best and probably as much as we can, try and connect more with ourselves, with others. That's the principle, I feel. Or we all become robots, and I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, we are so used. We are so used to bad news that is like, if there's no bad news, you have that feeling that something bad is going to happen because you haven't heard of bad news, or bad things haven't happened in a while. So you have that feeling like something is going to happen because
it's
it
coming.
haven't. It's coming. Like, no, it doesn't need to be like that. Yeah, and with the numbers thing, I think when numbers get into your mindset, I think like immediately you are thinking about more, or top five, or I need to be better, I need to grow up, I need to get more likes, more views, and that's not the way to
but it also works in the other way around, because say if you are making, let's talk about, say, the example YouTube, right? If you suddenly make a video and it's got like 10,000 views, and the next one might be like 2,000 views only, you're going to be like, oh my God, I did something wrong. Yeah. What did I did wrong? I failed. And it can bring you down. To me personally, I don't really care, but like I say this, I don't care as in like, you know, I feel that if what I'm doing, I feel it's right, it's relevant, I'll put it out. As long as it doesn't harm anybody, you know, it's not offensive or anything like that, it's totally fine. But like, there's people that I know and that I've came across that is like, if there's like a drop on whatever it is in life, or even likes, or, you know, whatever it is that they feel that it's just normal to happen, right? You know, they just feel, they bring this up into themselves like, oh my God, there is something fundamentally wrong happening here. And there's this like, almost like say, I don't know, like this association of like whether you're doing good or bad based on the numbers. Like if you have like, say, 6 digits on your bank account, great. If you have like 3 or 4, you know, maybe it's not that great, you know, but then at the end of the day, it's not really related to that. But then we have evolved to a way that it's just scary to think of like how much we care about numbers. And again, I never liked maths for one reason.
I think the necessity of quantify everything in our life is maybe tell us that we have that fear to be or not to be someone for for something or somebody else. So maybe that's the problem. I don't know, maybe it's fear to be nobody. So
yeah, people have, I think that's also connected with the idea of success. See, like a lot of us see ourselves in like these numbers, or this in a way success. Like success, what does success even mean? Like to me, success is something like so relative. Like, you know, success is more like, I think, a thing for yourself to judge, and not just like, it's not measured by if thousands of people follow you, or if you're you're paid handsomely to make a movie or a photo or whatever. I feel like success is, and of course we've seen that, you know, with a lot of people, like, you know, you're successful. Yeah, but success is not material, is a feeling, a sensation, right? So if I take a shot that I've been, you know, I take a photo of something or someone that I've been, you know, for a while envisioning, and I failed, and suddenly I have a success.
Yeah.
That is a success. So why are people not looking at success more like little things that you achieve for yourself, instead of like looking at the big scope and thinking, oh, you know, I'm not the next Joel Meyerowitz, so I'm not successful, you know? Or I feel like, you know, there's no comparison, because everyone has their own life, a background, problems, numbers, you know, thoughts, feelings. And I feel like things like this shouldn't even matter. You know, they're not relative. They are relative, very, very relative.
Tatiana, you were talking about success, and I would like to say like what I think lately success it is to me. I mean, I think you're successful if you're true to your passion, and if you do that thing for yourself, and you're like okay, and you're like true to yourself, you are successful, despite numbers, despite whatever society thinks success is. It doesn't really need to get into you. You should be true to yourself, and that's it.
Exactly, because
you'll be happy and you'll be successful. Yeah,
it's true. Like at the end of the day, it's like I feel successful if I create something that I've been, for so long battling to get it done. And and the success, fulfillment, contentment that I feel, it's like, you could have like 1 million people cheering me on a stadium. I couldn't care less, because like, it's so important. Like, for instance, when I finished my first ever film, which was actually in film school, and we went to do a few film festivals and stuff, but like, what I felt like when I watched my film, and it had blood, sweat, and tears on it, like, and I saw it projected on a screen, I was like blown away. It was like the best day of my life, not even, forget about having kids. I don't care.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, that's my kid on the screen. But like, I felt like this. But like, for me, the experience, the feeling of having that, it's, like I said, I could, people could have given me awards or whatever. I wouldn't care, because what counts is that I felt like so proud, but not like proud as in like, oh, look at me, look at my film, but like felt proud of like everyone that put effort and how much effort I had put into something. And, I never gave up, and it was there in front of us, and everybody was like, emotional looking at it. Cause it was funny because, you get emotional, like thinking about like how many adversities you overcame, in order to have that piece, that is not even material. Cause, most of it is just like, you can only see it projected onto something. So, it's not really like a piece that you can hold, because definitely when you're talking about digital, because we had to shoot digital at the time, it's much more, tangible. But I felt like it was such an important exercise. That's exactly the day where I learned what success was. When I saw that and I felt successful within myself, I felt like, I don't want to become this and that. I want to feel this again. This is to me, it's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we all share that concept of fulfillment and success. It is that feeling, precise feeling, and you want to feel it again and more, because it is something that you do to yourself. You're not trying to impress somebody. You're not trying to get those numbers high, sky high. You just want to feel that again, like that feeling of getting something done, create something from scratch, create something that it's inside of you, like burning you, like that Bukowski text, like if
I love
if it isn't burning inside, don't do it.
Yeah, it is like there are so many things, like that's why I came through so many things in my life, and I felt like it's more like it's a stone in your way, or it's like a little thing in your way. It's an obstacle, but like if that is burning, if that feeling is like that it's something burning inside you, and that you crash it, and that you go straight up wherever you have to go, and this is the same thing with photography for me. Like when I looked at my negatives like ages ago, and I felt like, because I didn't know what I was doing, right? I was using like this really cheap, I think, point and shoot, expired film. Most of it came like just total trash. But like the fact of I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God, I want to see more. Yeah. I want to do more. And even today, like I've shot so many rolls, and I just keep saying like to myself, I want to do more. I want to feel this feeling of like holding my images is like, it's something that I created, but not for the sake of like I created because I am, egocentric, which I'm not. I think it's more like the fact that you added something to the world in a, say, value wise, you created a photo that otherwise, say, could have not happened. You are kind of like, by capturing that moment in time, you created an impression, a painting, whatever it is that you want to call it. And that is a feeling that, of success in this case, that you want to, you're eager for more every time. Yeah. And, it's cool.
So that's how you think you improve yourself with film photography?
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely very perfectionist, right? Yeah. I am like if I get like a really bad comment on YouTube, it won't even affect me as much as I affect myself by looking at my work and be like, I didn't do this properly. Why didn't I do this properly? I didn't spend time doing this and doing that. Like, I am my worst critic, which can be a good thing and a bad thing, because think about it. Like, there has been times in my life that I was super obsessed with, like, oh, I made a mistake. And I was like, almost like punishing myself. Right. Yeah. And then I learned to be a bit more, say, kinda, it's fine to, and I think it's one of the biggest lessons for me of like lockdown and like the pandemic situation is like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. You're only human. Yeah. And I definitely know that before that I was like super, and I'm still very perfectionist, but like I'm a bit more chill about it. I'll put it this way. Yeah, definitely. But for me, learning comes with experience, of course, and observation, especially in photography, observation of other people's works, of photographers they admire, film, whatever it is, and also from observing your own work. Like, yeah, definitely. I feel that's very important. Very, very important.
Yeah, actually, something that I learned this pandemic is to not look at my photos right away that I received it by email, something like that, because I am the worst judge for myself, for my photographies. So I prefer to save the photos in my computer, go to sleep, and next morning I will look to these photos and I don't know, maybe I will look at these photos in a very different way, and I will. And actually, what I love about film photography is the sensation of expecting something that I took with my camera. So that's one of the too many things that I love about film photography. So that's that sensation, that feeling that it's no how do you say, it's not right away from like
it's kind of like it slows you down.
Yeah.
And with that also makes you more aware, and also like value more what you do, what you create, what you captured. Yeah. And definitely this is one of the pluses of film photography for sure. Like, there's many others, but like, of course, but like the fact that as a photographer, you get this sensation of like, it's all very, we especially, our generation, and even younger, like it's all like now. It's like, and you don't appreciate things because they are just like there and then, like if I want to know something, I'll go to Google. If I want food, I'll order it, come straight away. It's weird, but like, it's kind of like you need to take time to appreciate things. So for me to also like sit down and say like, I'm not going to develop my role today, or I'm not going to send these to the lab today. I'm going to send it in a week, or I'm going to look at it tomorrow, and give time to time. And especially like, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but like the fact that you take a photo and you're not able to see it straight away, so you don't even know what happens. Yeah. But it's cool. It's a good thing because it makes you like more, like I said, value more what you create, what you do. Definitely.
And it makes you, it forces you to trust yourself and your process. So you're more careful about how I am metering the light. How am I composing? How am I like you take that moment like more seriously, because you don't have that immediate response, you don't have that immediate image like with the digital camera.
I think you touched one of the most important things, which is when you say like it makes you trust yourself. True. You know why? Because it makes you trust your instinct more, like your gut feeling.
Totally.
And for me, it's like it's imperative for someone like an artist, a creator, whatever it is, to trust themselves. And there's a lot of people that deal with like doubt and self-doubt, not even like, you know, just like other people doubting me, but I doubt myself. What do I do? Is it really good? You know, and I feel like taking things slowly and learn to appreciate things for what they are, even if there's mistakes, even if they didn't work very well, you learn to trust yourself more as a capable person, as an artist with a camera, which I feel like it's very important to say. Like a lot of people like, you know, it's not just about, you have to think of yourself as, in a way, as an artist photographer. And these are not my words. Yeah. These are actually Joel Meyerowitz's words. And I live by this. I swear by this, because it's so important to think of yourself as a bit something more, you know, like I'm not saying like grow an ego, of course not, but like,
yeah,
try and find yourself in what you do, your identity. And this is so important and so simple. But yeah, it will take like ages. It will take all your life, if you will.
Of course.
But it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to learn more from yourself. You don't. I don't think we should be that hard on ourselves because we don't like a photo we took. I think we should learn about that moment, about why I took that photo like that. What is this telling me about myself? And this get me back into a couple of years back to one. It is not one of the best, but the best classes I had. It was the best class, photography class that I took, and it wasn't about lenses, it wasn't about technique, it wasn't about cameras. The class itself was called in Spanish "huella primaria," which translates to like the
footstep,
original footprint, or like primary footprint. And the class was about learning why you see the way you see. And it was like it was almost like therapy, because it takes you down to where you were born, where you lived, if you lived in a 2 stories house or one flat house, if you lived near the sea, because that it's gonna affect how you see, and that's why I took the horizon level. It is like almost in all my pictures, it's at the center of the image, because I grew up in a place with no mountains, so I'm used to see the horizon like at the middle of my sight. So I learned about my how I see the world much better, and I like learn how to read my own photos like they were like letters for myself, like I was writing something for myself, but visually. And it was a really great photography class, without even taking a picture in the class. It was a photography class where you don't even you don't need a camera for that class. You just need your eyes.
Exactly.
And that was great. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, that's a great concept. Like, I totally, like, when I look at my photos, I realize as to why I, you know, based on my life, my experiences, why, you know, I feel this necessity to capture people from afar, to isolate them, to, you know, to reflect on loneliness, on existentialism, because it's a reflection of who I am. And my photography is a reflection of myself. And our photographies, you know, generally speaking, I feel that if you pick up a camera, you go on a stroll, you know, you go on a walk, and you photograph freely. I'm not saying like, say, you know, actually being paid to photograph something that is very, you know, it's an assignment. But like if you pick up a camera by yourself and you go and discover something, discover new things that you've, you know, passed by or whatever, I feel like every photo that you'll take, it's like you said, a letter for yourself, about yourself, you know, because it's a counterpart of who you are, the way you see the world. Because the way you see the world is unique to you, and I will not see the world the way you see it, and David will not see the world the way we see it. You know, it's very important to cultivate that and to find, like I said in the beginning, photography is also a self-discovery thing. You as you photograph throughout your life, you'll discover so many things about you that if you had to do it another way, it would be probably very hard to put it into words even. But yeah.
Actually, if you look back at your photos of like 1 year ago, you are not the same. Well, that's in my case. I looked at my photos in 2019, and I compared that photo from my photo from maybe 1 week ago, and I was like, I don't know, maybe that is not the same David. It's not the same way that I saw the world, and maybe that's not the. I don't feel in the same way that I feel in that year. So it's very, photography is like a free therapy for all of us, because and we are always looking to. It's like a, how did you say, like a clan? It's like a tribe, and you want to get more people into your tribe, and tell them really this is good for you. It's like a pyramid scheme. Maybe. Because you feel so good, because you feel amazing, and you want to share that, and you want to get people feeling in the same way. So I think
definitely
it's magic. It's like, I think it's magic.
definitely. I mean, I certainly remember like some of the hardest times in my life. My way of coping was to probably take a camera with me and go out. That's it. Just go out. You know, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was going to take photos of, if I was even going to take a photo, because sometimes I didn't even. But like the fact that I had it with me, I don't know, it gave me a sense of like, it's weird, but like gave me a sense of like, whatever it is that I'm going to experience as I walk and I think about what just happened or what I'm experiencing, if I take a photo, that will be reflected in it. Because if I'm super upset, it will be there. If I found my peace again, it will be there. See, that's why I feel like certain photographers, you can literally feel like the peace in their, like peace and quiet in their photography. And I don't know, it reflects the mood of the scene, but also reflects like who is seeing it and how that person is feeling.
It's like a mirror, like looking, even looking at other photographers' work, it's like looking yourself in a mirror, because it will only tell you the things you are willing to hear in that moment. I agree. That moment is unique, because it will not tell you the same things today or tomorrow. It will depend on how you feel and how you are getting along with your day, with the year, with the pandemic, with everything. It is a unique moment every time you look at a picture from anyone else or a picture from your own work. And
I agree totally.
That is an experience that everybody should experience. Should once in your life. I think everybody should take a roll of photographs whatever it is, with a point and shoot, with a SLR, with everything. But everybody should go through this experience because it is so rewarding and so it is so I don't want to say that it is a self-centered experience, but it is a very revealing of who you are to yourself.
It's a self-discovery moment. Really. Yeah. I totally agree.
Do you feel like that with I think I know the answer of this question, but do you feel like that when you're writing?
Yes. Like, I am so eager of like, say, this is like, I've always, like, for a long time in my life, I've always dealt with like self-doubt. And my mom, which is really funny, like, of course, it's your mom. She's going to be like always telling you how great you are, how beautiful you are. Even like your face is full of pimples and you look like crap. But like, I feel my mom, she like always pushed me and she said like, you know, if you don't feel comfortable in sharing your writing now with people and you're doing it with me, let it be, because there will be a time in your life where you will be there and you will feel comfortable. And you might meet people that will criticize your writing, but it won't matter anymore because you've learned by that time your lessons. And I feel that moment is so true. Like, I feel ready to share it, right?
Okay.
And for me, it's, I don't know, it's like, it's really about having a deep look at who we are, even if it's like a story of somebody else, you know? And, you know, that's why I'm so eager to like finish the damn book and like, you know, just get it out there, you know, and share a bit more of my experiences and like, you know, what I can do. And yeah. But there are some people who I've, you know, shared a couple of like my stuff with, and, you know, just like here and there, like as kind of like moments of like, okay, I'm going to share it with somebody who doesn't even know me, just to see, you know, like, generally speaking, the replies are like, it's not that it's good or bad, but what it made them feel. And that's pretty cool. And that's what I'm after. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think that thing your mom's said to you it is very wise, because if you're not ready to share, it doesn't mean you need to stop to write or making photos or creating things. Don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Just you need to know your timing for sharing, because that is the next step. Because I mean, when you create things, the first reason is it is for yourself, but in some point you need to raise that voice. You need to share that, because you need to, like, knowing what this photo makes you feel, what this text evokes into you, into other people. But there's a time for that. First, you need to be sure.
Take it with. Sorry, I interrupted you. But for instance, like, I just came to my mind. So take it with photography. How long have I not been photographing? But only like a year ago did I decided to actually share that more. You know, get it into with people, because I felt like, do you know what? I might just do it. Might as well just do it. And I felt like it was at a time where I didn't think of causes, consequences, whatever. Just put yourself out there. Of course, you have to realize that by putting yourself out there, you'll meet people that will cheer you, but you also meet people that will not cheer you up. They'll probably like want to bring you down. But that's life anyway. And I felt like it was the right moment. I can't explain it. I just felt it. And I feel like with writing, is the same thing. With probably filmmaking is going to be the same thing, because, you know, obviously I do work a lot and I do have a lot of things going on. So I also have to be kinder and think of time as not being like, oh my God, I'm running out of time, but like giving time to time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like rushing things sometimes, it will reflect on how people will see what you did. It will be there, rough materials, sloppy writing or whatever it is, So yeah, give time to time. And I know that obviously you guys are going to share this online. And so my advice to those people watching this right now would be like, give time to time. And it's okay that it's not today, tomorrow, the next day, just let it flow, because everybody has their own, their own workflow and their own concept of time. It might run faster, might run slower, so just don't punish yourself.
Yeah. That concept of time and that rhythm, it doesn't need to be the same as the people that is next to you or the people you follow on YouTube. Like watching a video and saying like, why I didn't do that? Why I didn't talk like that? Why I don't have the same number of views numbers again? Just let it flow. You said it right. Like giving time to time, and there's a phrase in here in Mexico that is like that. Darle tiempo al tiempo.
Yeah. I wanted to translate it because I thought it was to be like, because I know tiempo is the word for time. So I was like, would it be tiempo al tempo or something like that?
Yeah, like that, like just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's the same thing. My mom tells me this all the time. There's the same thing, and it's a similar word. So it's like I was like, in my mind, I was like saying it, and I was like, no, it must be like tiempo or something like that.
Yeah. It's darle tiempo al tiempo.
Dale tiempo al tiempo.
Giving time to time. Yeah.
Well, Tatiana, we will. I want to ask you this because I saw videos on your YouTube channel about female photographers, and I think that it's a very interesting and important topic because there is a popularity of men photographers, and a lot of schools and teachers and friends always recommend men photographers because there are a lot of men photographers, but also there are a lot of female photographers. Why are you talking about this in your videos?
Well, so first of all, I have to say that, I will, if I see good work, amazing work. I mean, when I say good work, I say like something that inspires me and that I want to feature. I don't really care if it's like from Mexico, China, if that person belongs to this, there, if it's a male, a female, transgender, however they want to identify themselves. I feel like we need to take accountability that we live in a society where every day people disregard humanity for who we are and who we are. We all very different, we all come in different colors, shapes, whatever it is. And so for me, the concept of my channel is to explore everyone and everything, right? But then at the time that I created the series, I was actually listening to a podcast about the story of Polly Platt. Polly Platt was a very important film producer, right? But in a way, her career was very sort of diminished, or because she was the wife of a very famous director, Peter Bogdanovich, right? And I listened to that podcast, and I was like, my God, it's awful, why? And I myself, I read other things and I saw movies and stuff where she worked at, and I thought she was great. And then I thought, I sat for the longest time ever. It was like I was having a, awe moment. And I was like, what the hell? Why is this happening? Why did this happen? And then I thought the same way this girl did the podcast about this lady who I would have never guessed who she was. Why don't I because it's my obligation, you know, in a way, almost as a woman, to bring not awareness, but I would say like to bring to the table work that is relevant, that has been ignored and suppressed. Because in many ways, these women, and it's a complicated question, right? Because I see this with so many things. Like I see this with a lot of like institutions in America, and not just in America, but like in the West, that, you know, if you're different, so if you're a woman, or if you're, say, you know, for, you know, Asian or something else, like you're just seen, or at least in back then, but still today, let's not gonna lie here, but like back then you were seen as lesser. Yeah. Why? That is just like the worst, one of the worst things in our history is that we categorize ourselves into having like, and I think that when we talk about photography and women, right, we have to have an accountability as well. Well, in let's say we have to account for the fact that for the longest period ever, women, you know, they were considered housewives. They weren't allowed to have a sort of education. So obviously the women accessing arts throughout our history, you know, has been much lesser when compared to men's access to arts, right? And to, you know, other things like jobs, independence. I mean, there's still a lot of countries where women depend on their husband, you know, and I feel that, you know, it's crippling because there's so many people doing so much, you know, so great work, you know, and they have done so much work that it's crippling because it can be so inspiring and we can learn so much with. And somehow it's our twisted society dictated at some point that, you know, these people shouldn't have an opportunity. These people shouldn't be seen seriously because they're women, or, you know, I feel that there's so many things at the game here, but like that was my main thing was like, I listened to the podcast about polyploth and I was like, I'm sure that, you know, when I typed on YouTube, female photographers, now you see a lot. But back in the days when I was trying to, you know, of course, if you type in Sally Mann or someone more specific, it will come up. But like, I don't know. And I wanted to like all the places where I put, say on Google, like female photographers, almost the same names in every page, like say list of 10 photographers, they're all the same pretty much, or, you know, more or less. Okay. Yeah. And I feel like there's so much to discover and there's so much that needs to be brought up to our attention. And it's an issue. Yes, it is an issue, but there's a lot of issues with our society that we can tackle creatively by bringing it up, but like not necessarily talking about politics or anything like that, but just show people that you don't need to talk about politics or this or that to learn to appreciate people for who they really are, humanity for who we really are, you know. And that's with so many, you know, like so many other photographers that I featured, like, you know, Black artists that I featured, and also, you know, I've probably, I don't know, I'm going to try and bring more because I do have like a list of names, but again, it's a time issue with me. But I think it's very important to do that.
And I think your YouTube channel addresses that in a great way. I mean, the way you share things, the way you share the other people's work, and the way you it is a kind of way of admiring their work, the way you explain it and the way you express about that is great. I think you're doing that like, it's almost like a social obligation, like sharing that, and you're doing it great. Yeah.
I think it is like, I feel like, you know, of course we're not going to sit here and discuss like all of our obligations, but I feel like if you have some sort of platform, it's very important to share knowledge, but also make people aware of a lot of things that are going on in our world. Say, I'm pretty sure that our conversation about numbers, like, half an hour ago, is going to open a lot of people's minds, because they're going to be like blown away, like, oh my God, numbers. But like, I feel that, it's importance. It's almost like an obligation to show work, to re-educate, even though obviously I don't consider myself a teacher, right? But I feel like fundamentally we are educated the worst way possible. Talking about the definition of meaningful, what we've been taught in school, it's sometimes not even the tip of what meaningful means. Same thing with success, like we've discussed today. Same thing with, like, I don't know, equality. Like, a lot of people have this idea of like equality as it being like, you need to, it's showing, like, say, that this and this is equal, even though they're different and stuff like that. But like, I feel like equality, the definition of equality should be like, somewhat in the realm of like, you need to show it through your actions, like, it's not just about like talking, oh yeah, we're all equal, but then you act like it's not, your actions don't reflect that, and there's so many things, like I said, that we learn in school, and that the best way you can do is like ignore it pretty much, and then rebuild your own concepts based on people, like what people like Joel Meyerowitz says, or certain artists, or even listening to this conversation, just keep an open mind to, and the best thing I've ever done was to question everything. Like, just because it's an authority telling you, it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's close, that it's that thing, and as long as you don't hurt other people, that you're not offensive, you can do this path of self-discovery and realize that sometimes things are, a bit like, it's not A, but like A, B, C, and D, F, E, G, going on and on and on. And I think that's very important with, it's a civic duty. I'll put it this way.
Yeah. Just like that. Yeah, actually, I mean...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna add to that it is so true that everybody should find their own path in life, and you shouldn't be trying to imitate or recreate other people's path, and because maybe that's not gonna let you learn what you need to learn in your lifetime. I mean, you can do it. You can live other people's way, but I think it wouldn't be so
unique to your existence.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so. How can I say it? Like that. It wouldn't be that great, that passionate, that unique, that because it isn't your way of life. It isn't your way of thinking. It isn't your way of seeing things. I mean, it is hard to find that path. Maybe it will take all your life.
That's true.
But I think that way, that learning path, it is the path in itself. Itself. I think that's the way we should live. I mean, we're getting like so philosophical and poetic.
No, but it's true. But say,
I think it is true.
When I was like, I think it was 14, and so we were all in class, and then we had this pathetic meeting with like this psychologist that asked us, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Okay.
And then, everybody was almost compelled to say, we want to be successful, okay, at what we do. And then, but the reason I say it's pathetic is because, so you want to study, say someone said, I want to be a lawyer. Okay, so to be a lawyer, you need to go to university, you need to go to here, there, and there, right? In my case, I remember I said, I want to be a filmmaker. And it's like, she said, oh, okay, so I reckon you should go to film school, and then you probably will get a job with a company, and then, just, or maybe, and she was very confused. And I said, I remember I was 14 and I said, like, this is pathetic. Like, and I thought, and I still think today, like, school teaches you, you need to be successful, but nobody shows you how. The reason, what they show you is like, okay, like, you have to do this because the person before was successful at doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Say the same thing as like when I was in uni, like, and a couple of days ago, and I had to pitch my idea, and that was so confusing because, like, oh, but you're pitching something very experimental. I'm pitching something that is unique to me. Whether that is right or wrong, sits well with you or not, that's fine. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to say anything that is offensive. But just because other people choose to go through a classical, say, like, way of storytelling, and I'm choosing differently, or somebody else will choose differently, doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. Same thing is like, if I want to be a filmmaker, I could have gone to uni and I could have not gone to uni. There's so many paths to achieve the same thing. Of course, I'm pretty sure that if you want to be a lawyer, you'll need to go to law school. You can't just like appear and say, actually, I'm a lawyer. But, I feel like, especially when there's so many things in life, we need to teach kids in school that, there's so many ways to be successful. There's so many ways to achieve what you want in life. And that's why I see a lot of people my age that are not happy with what they're doing, leads to depression, leads to, crippling anxiety, to so many things, it's sad, but, I think it's kind of like, I don't know, just teach the next generation about these things, and just say, like, it's not so black and white. There's like gray, a lot of it.
Yeah,
and
a lot of grace. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about this thing that you said, Tatiana, about a woman not allowed to do some things or work on some spaces or studying some things or some professions. And I thought that years ago there was a if you were a woman and you want to go to university, the first thing that people think was, oh, she will go to arts or something like that because it's easy. And that is a big problem, because maybe that girl want to be an engineer or a pilot or a doctor or something like that, but the people think that maybe she was not able to do that because she was a woman. So it took too many years to break that wall, and right now we have women many in too many professional areas, because also men, if you want to go to arts or study arts, you were looking like maybe he's not good in this or in that. Maybe man, you're a man, you need to be an engineer, or you need to be something different,
a doctor or something.
Or something that is like, that pays well, that is sustainable, like a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, I remember like my mom's face when I said, I want to be like a filmmaker, I think, Mom. And I said, I think, and she was like, so scared. She was like, okay, why don't you think about it? And she's like, what about like, because in the course that I was at, I could pursue like, because this was high school time, so I could pursue then law or history or whatever, because I was in humanities, which is like we talked about like, literature, etc. And she was like, there's so many things you could pick, like, why don't you like rethink? And I saw in her that she was in doubt, like, because she made so many sacrifices in order for me to study and to be able to achieve certain things, that in a way I'm sure that she felt like there was a big risk of me failing, and not being successful. But then that's when I sat down at her and told her about what I thought success was, And I said to her, like, if I want to pursue filmmaking, I for sure don't see myself like working for a big company and being someone's assistant and then climbing the ladder, you know, like I feel like my films could be like just small things for me. And this was at the time. And I said, and I'll be happy with it, with a normal day job. And I feel that my openness to that, and it really touched her. And she, you know, she was obviously, she never like say, oh, you can't really pursue filmmaking, but like she definitely doubted. And after that, she was like, okay, I feel that, you know, you should do what you feel makes you happy. And I said to her, that's the key, you know?
Yeah.
Like what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled. And even if like you live in a country where it's technically not, because we know that there's countries like that there's not really much openness of mind, keep doing your thing, because, you know, by doing your thing, you're being yourself. And while others are just being like a copy of whatever it is that they think it's right.
Yeah,
and also, there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, and also the meaning of the word institution. Maybe, I don't know, Harvard, Berkeley, or something like that. No, the importance of the meaning of the word institution, because the institution, it's what it gives in some way the importance to some topics and some on some things, like I don't know, talking about film or films, female for the filmmakers. If years ago there was no zero nomination for woman filmmakers and directors, and with the time we heard I don't know, maybe one filmmaker nominated, and then two women nominated. Now we have that maybe that topic is not that important, because it have to not be important because they are just directors, and it doesn't matter if you are a female or male filmmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter, but in that time, in that years, it was very important, because there was a woman, and we are making the difference, and we are the Oscars, and we are saying that we have a female director nominated. So it was very strange, because the institution embraced that that
difference almost.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they make that statement like publicity or something for marketing, and it's a problem, because
because
it was like, look at us, we are inclusive.
Exactly. It's because they need to show inclusion in order, but like if you don't practice, it's what I said about like the concept of equality. If you don't practice equality, it's not going to be through names or through words that you're going to get there, really, you know. I feel that I'm hopeful that there will be a time in the world where you will be a photographer, a filmmaker, whatever it is, a doctor that is not female, male, Asian, a black artist, whatever. You will just be seen by exactly who you are, as in an artist, as in doctor, as in, and, you know, I feel that by saying this, we all agree with this, that it should happen, and it should, but like, we live in a world where unfortunately we still need to put that name behind, that word behind a female of whatever, to create awareness for that person's work. Because if it wasn't for that, people wouldn't take any interest, or people would probably judge it, on racist terms, or, terms that would not be acceptable in any way. Unfortunately. See, it's the same thing as like, there was a comment on my last female film photographers. Why don't you think it's sexist doing videos like this and titling it this way. But then would you click on it if I didn't actually write female for the purposes of a title? Because obviously if you know me and you know my channel, you know what I mean and who I am. But like, would you click on it? Would I actually have raised an awareness for people to know their work? What would I have to write? You know, people who happen to be female that actually happen to, you know, pick up a camera. This is episode 4. It will be like a big ass title, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, I feel that people should aim for this reality where we would write artists. It doesn't matter, right? Where they come from, who they are, what they look like. But in the meantime, create more and more and more and more awareness for this, you know. And I feel that big institutions should have come up, like the Oscars or whatever it is that they do, should have come up with statements like this already. Like, you know, it's not that we're judging them because they're female. It's not that we're trying to be inclusive by using the words of female. But unfortunately, we live in a world where we need to use these words to get people's attention, you know, and I think that that's very important. But that only shows that also, like, so, you know, institutions like that are very ruled by interests and by what's trendy and what's not. It's not a coincidence that like suddenly there's a wave of feminism and there's a lot of female directors nominated, or there's like the BML and there's like a lot of Black artists nominated, you know.
And now they nominated Asian actor for
you know,
best performance, something.
Exactly. And, you know, it's in a way I feel grateful that it happens, but I also see the counterpart of like doing it just because it's trendy. And then the work of these people will fall into forgetfulness in a way. So it's something that we need to be aware of. Of course, I talk about, you know, I title female film photographers because I know that there's going to be someone like me that one day decides to discover people. I want to know more about film photographers, or in this case, about female photographers, and we'll see my title and we'll find something there that will inspire them and touch them. That's it. Not trying to be sexist, people. Not trying to be sexist.
No, but I know what you mean. Right now is the time to do that because we're in this, let me say, like transition into the world we all want as we want it to be.
Exactly.
It's a transition, and we need to speak loud right now. Maybe in the future it won't be necessary, but right now it is, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, by the way, I saw yesterday Nomadland, and I love it. I love that movie, directed by Chloe. I don't know his last name. Chloe's Shao, because
which one?
Nomadland.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I need to though.
I love it. It's a great movie. It's a great movie, and it looks like.
We have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, you saw it.
I saw that. I was like, there's going to be a time where David is going to say, we have 10 minutes left, guys.
Yeah, well, we need to go to another session. So
and another question then.
So let's go to the other Zoom session to play the last part of this interview.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's go.
Okay.
And it's
okay.
Yeah.
I have a very lazy visitor right here. Let me see if I can show it.
Show us.
Oh, you're so sleepy. This is Merlin. Say hi, Merlin.
Oh my God, it's so cute. I love the bandana around him. That is so funny.
Hola, Merlin.
Look at that.
Good morning. What do you want to say? Say hi to Tatiana.
Hi. Hola, Merlin.
Oh,
Oh, you recognize?
You speak English, so
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, now we get it. The big one right here.
Oh,
Come here.
the family's together.
Yeah. His name is Cometa, like a comet.
Cometa, yeah, like a comet, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get up.
he doesn't want it.
I could see the tip of his nose.
Yeah. But he is bigger.
Go ahead. Go.
A lot.
Yeah, he's so big. Go on. Continue sleeping.
He's the big boy. The big boy of the house.
Yeah. Okay.
So
sorry about that.
This is
No, it's okay.
Yeah, don't worry. It's our dogs. We love dogs.
We do.
We have the last part of the interview that is, dynamic for for stressing out and I don't know, having a laugh maybe. So, are you ready, Tatiana?
Yeah, sure. Bring it on.
It's kind of harsh because I know this got a very philosophical and very inclusive and very relaxed, but in this section you need to pick one of the options.
Oh boy.
It's which you prefer dynamic, so you need to pick one and tell us a little bit why you chose that option. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
First part is trick question about mathematics. So it's about maths. So don't.
Oh no.
No, not true. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. First question. What do you prefer? Shooting portraits at night with CineStill 800T or shooting portraits at day with Portra 160?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You know why?
There's
Because
no
the
wrong
last
answer.
But I know. I will say CineStill. I would say shooting at night with CineStill because I would definitely be able to create like a lot more, moody stuff. But the last time I did that, CineStill failed me. So
Really?
there were like these blue lines all over. They were like damaged, and I actually had to send stuff back. So I was like, oh God, no. But if I had to do it again, I'll probably rock with CineStill at night, shooting portraits in a gas station.
Yeah, of course. Just to be trendy. Yeah.
Is the big and trendy combo on the internet?
Yeah. It's like two best friends.
Yeah. Okay, next questions. What?
I'm sorry. That blue lines, I've seen that in so many pictures. I mean, maybe it was a bad batch of CineStill.
It was a bad
I've seen that in so many pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad batch. I mean, even the lab, because I was like, I had been prepping that shoot for over a year. So when it was actually foggy and the way I wanted it, like I was only able to save like 4 photos. And because it was so important, so I didn't even trust myself to develop it. I was like, I'm going to send it to a lab because I know that, it'll be less risky. And when I got the call back saying like, well, actually they're damaged, but it looks like it's a bad batch because there's emulsion, there's been like some tempering and stuff. So the emulsion is like actually damaged. I was like, oh no, it's so bad. But then I know that within my work, knowing me, I would still choose CineStill to do at night, or sort of like I would probably now lean more towards like a similar stock. But yeah, I would probably do it again.
Okay.
Okay. Next question is, what do you prefer? Endless time to write and shoot photos, or endless paper and film?
That's a good one.
I mean, would I actually have access to paper and film if I had would I pay for them if I had the endless time?
Yeah, you have to pay for them.
That's fine. That's the only thing. So they're not out of the question. Yeah, I would probably go for like endless time, like even though yeah, I would still pay for it, but if I had like endless time to practice and do it, oh yeah. Sure. Sure.
I know.
Sure.
Okay. Next question. Which do you prefer, Dorothea Lange or Graciela Iturbide?
Oh no, that's no. Oh no,
Very
no,
sorry.
that's impossible. Like,
We
why?
are so sorry, but you have to answer.
You are so mean.
That's cruel. That's a cruel question. Again, no wrong answers.
I would lean towards Graciela. I'd say Graciela Iturbide for sure. I think that. Yeah, Viva Mexico. But for sure, I think like her work does touch me emotionally more. Like I know that obviously Dorothea Lange's work, I'm not taking any value from it. It's beautiful, it's amazing, but like the way Graciela composes, and it's such an emotional photography, so powerful, Yeah. And I feel like yeah, definitely. Well, it was hard, but now I can see it's not hard anymore. I'll go with Viva Mexico.
And actually, Graciela have this, how would you say, surrealistic thing in her work. So it's kind of dreamy, interesting. I don't know, magic is.
It's kind of like magical realism. So it's like I thoroughly go for that. So yeah, sorry, Dorothea. No harm intended. I'm sure she won't be mad. I'm sure she won't be mad.
Okay, next
now, okay. I'm sorry. Now that you say it, most of the photographers of that time in Mexico have this like surrealistic and magical feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes from writing, really, because when I was reading the books of Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Jorge Luis Borges, something like that. Yeah. Borges, so obviously he's Argentinian, but like there is this wave of like magical realism across like Latin America. And I was like, this is beautiful. And like, this is it's really good. And I got a lot of inspiration from them and learned a lot from them. Because, you can imagine like a photo of reality, but if you have like to stage something, to create your work, they teach you to just like go free, go crazy, like imagine what it's not been thought of and don't disregard it. Do it anyhow, or write it or whatever it is.
Yeah, and actually on those years, there were also painters like Leonora Carrington, that she had a lot of influence about this surrealistic movement. Also on writing, Julio Cortázar from Argentina, they have this magical atmosphere on his work. So yeah, there were a very crazy and magical times.
Yeah, no, they were really like magical times for sure. But like, one book that I will forever treasure is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. It's stupendous. It's like, if you have not read it, you need to. Like, it's so good. Definitely. Yeah.
Well, next question is, would you prefer Jill Friedman or Vivian Maier?
Oh, no.
We're making you suffer. Sorry about that.
Because like I feel like I connect with Vivian Maier more on a personal level because I understand her solitude, her like her way of photographing, and like I love her self-portraits, and it really inspired me over the years to photograph myself in the same way of fashion. But Jill Friedman, she has such an amazing body of work. I'll go with Vivian Maier. Okay. I'll go just because by reading and watching documentaries, you really get to see you really get an impression of the person she was. And she was like, so great, like the way she saw the world, the way she embraced the world. And I really relate to that. Even though, I mean, Jill Friedman is like, come on, it's like a badass, you know, she's so good, so good. But yeah, sorry, I'll go with that one.
Sorry, Jill.
Okay, next question is a good one. What do you prefer, Edward Hopper light or Rembrandt light?
No, Edward Hopper. That is not. Whenever you put Edward Hopper on the table, there is no way I'm not going to choose him. You know, even if it's like, sorry, Rembrandt, I know you're great, but like Edward Hopper, like that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Which paint do you will you prefer from Edward? He had a. I know that the famous one is the one in the cafeteria.
Yeah, the Nighthawks.
The Nighthawks.
I actually. Well, my grandparents had a copy of that one. Of course, it's a copy. They had a copy of it in their restaurant. And one of my personal favorites is, of course, Nighthawks. But then I feel this weird, deep connection with Automat, which is from, I think, 1927. It's like this lady in a cafe at night. And I don't know, there's like this, I actually wrote something inspired on that and everything. It's really like, it touched me in a very weird way, like so deep. I can't really put it into words as to why, but I love it. Of course, there's a lot more like gas station, you know, like there's so
actually, my wallpaper from in the computer is gas station. I love that.
It's gorgeous, like, you know, and even when he just paints light, you know, because a lot of people ask him throughout his life, like, what is the subject of your painting? And he said, like, I paint light. I find that so fascinating. Like, it's beautiful. Like, you know, Edward Hopper all the way.
Edward Hopper gang. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. We're going more technical, more into photography. So, would you prefer the Berger Pancro 400 or Fomapan R100?
I don't know, because I feel like I like Pancro because generally speaking, I like low contrasted films, like when it comes to black and white. So I would say I'll go with Pancro on this one, but like I've said in my video, I really like the Fomapan's cinematic look, but then it's a motion picture film as well. So I feel like, I would go with, if we're talking about photography, I would go probably with Berger. But if we were talking on a filmmaking basis, I would probably prefer more contrast. And given that Foma produces motion picture films, I'll probably go with one of their films. Yeah.
Nice. And I asked you that because I saw your videos, so
yeah.
No, it was very tricky.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Well, here's another one based on your videos, and it is: would you prefer Fuji industrial film or Kodak Pro Image?
Oh, because there's things in those films that I don't like on both of them. So. You know, because like, I don't know, I felt like when I shot with Pro Image, for some reason, it looked like I was shooting outer space. Like those greens were all over the place. Like it was crazy. But I definitely like it more than Fuji Industrial for sure. So I'll put Pro Image.
Okay.
So
what you didn't like?
I don't know. I felt like
Fuji.
When I shot Fuji Industrial, I liked the saturation and everything, but I actually, after that video, I never picked up any more roles, really. I don't know. There was something in that film that I appreciated the qualities of the film, but it wasn't a film stock that I would necessarily, I could see myself shooting it again, but not like on a scale of like, if it was an important project, I would do it. Or if it was like, say I would pick it up on purpose. Whenever I have to pick up my film, I always have like my choices in my head. And, you know, for some reason, like Fuji never came up to that, you know, that importance in my head. But it's a great film. But like I said, I appreciate things for what they are. I appreciate the film for what the film is, what it can give you. But like for me, I don't know, I felt like probably I could get more out of pro image with it, you know, shooting with it, I mean. But yeah.
Yeah, great. It is kind of neutral. I don't want to say it lacks of personality, because it isn't. That isn't the situation. But I think it's very like neutral.
I think
it is for
pro image. Pro image is a film that really depends. It's so dependable on light. Say, if I imagine myself, if I had to, obviously, of course, all films are dependable on light, yeah. But like, you know, if I had to shoot in a studio, I would say that I think, and I've seen results with pro image that really, I was like, "What? This is pro image? Wow, that's crazy." And even like certain photos that I did after that video, because I bought 5 rolls, because I bought like that pack, and I didn't include them in the video because it was just like, you know, I decided to use that roll, and I was like, really, I really liked it. You know, like the result, because I used in very specific lighting conditions, and so I was really, and probably if I had done the same with Fuji, I would have like a more comparable like variant between both. But because I did more with pro image, that's where I probably will choose, because I did more with it, so I know its weaknesses and its strengths, I'll put it this way.
Yeah, I think both are very capable, but
oh yeah,
both films, industrial and pro image, they crave light. I mean, you have to give them that, because otherwise it will get like moody shadows and like very strange color variations. But if you tend to overexpose them, they have great results. Yeah.
And actually, I think that something that you said, Beto, about how we saw the world, that's very, very important, because in the interview that we have with Kyle McDougall, they told us that he went to UK, so he will change his stock for shooting on the UK, because the colors and the landscapes and something in the UK are very different from Canada.
He's from Canada. Yeah.
Okay, so it was very different what he saw in the UK. So maybe that's something that we can share in our view on how we saw the world. Maybe in Mexico we love more, I don't know, maybe Fuji, because we have a lot of landscapes or streets with that kind of colors, or maybe with more Portra 400, I don't know. So that's very interesting, that how we see the world, that's the reason that we pick up some specific the stock of film.
That's very cool.
That is true. Yeah.
So the last question is, this is a good one. This is the the sound of the camera shutter or the sound of the typewriter?
Oh.
Nice.
Oh man, I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah.
I would go for the camera one, because it's so iconic, and every camera almost, well, they have their own pretty much, but like what it means, that sound to me, like it means that it's like there is something there, you know, like, because for me, like say the typewriter or even like writing, like you can write and then you delete, and you write at certain speeds, you write, you know, but when you press a shutter, it's like ta, and it's like there, you know, and you can't just like ta 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 ta, unless you're like doing digital. Yeah, it'll be like you can press multiple times, but like it's kind of a certainty that I have every time I do it. Like, tau, this means something to me, right? As opposed to like, of course, writing there is a good sound, but like if you imagine it, you can go on and on and on and on and on. As in like, the shutter one, it's so fast. Of course, it depends really on the camera that you're working at, your shutter speed, etc. But like usually it's so fast, but it's so meaningful because it means that you got something that out of whatever it is that you're experiencing, that is you taking something for yourself, for, you know, immortalizing something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think of it this way.
I think that is a great answer. And the way I was visualizing your answer right now is, if you see your lifetime, your life as a timeline, that shutter sound should be like cue marks. To remember yourself. You have to treasure that moment.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
right.
I feel like when you press a shutter, like when you hear that sound, it's like an affirmation of like, yes, I've seen something beautiful. Yes, I've seen something meaningful. Yes, I've seen something that touched me. And yes, something that can touch others. See, there's like 4 yeses here. It's like the yes theory behind the shutter, pressing the shutter button. But yeah, nice. I think that's it. Yeah. Great question, by the way. That's so cool.
Thank you. I have a last one, is because we didn't ask you that. Which is your favorite camera? And
the ones that I own right now, or the ones? Oh, definitely the Mamiya 7. It has grown on me. It's like, you know, it's like I've got like a camera, you would call it by she. So it's like my girlfriend, you know, like my, you know, like my, it's like, I feel like it has grown on me so much. Like I actually picked it up because it was a great price. It was a great opportunity, you know, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to be like, again, you know, like those YouTubers that have like a Mamiya 7, and be like, oh, classic. Yeah. But I was like, you know, I'm going to pick it up because it's a great opportunity. And I feel like I was having a problem with my Pentax 6.7 and etc. It's like, it was too heavy. And then I knew I couldn't pick up a Mamiya, you know, RB or RZ because I don't like the viewfinder. I don't like the system. Like, I don't like photographing like that personally. So I knew it had to be something that it would be similar to a 35mm, which, like, you know, you just go up, towel, it's done. You know, like you click and it's done. And I felt like the Mamiya is such a portable camera, versatile, like great lenses. And I thought, like, you know, it has grown on me like so much. Like last few times I was around, I was actually shooting with it. Like, you know, it's a love story. waiting for its video on the channel soon. I'll be like, Mamiya 7 in me. The love story.
yeah. That's a great title.
A photographer's love story. Like
So you also love rangefinder system?
Yeah. Definitely. At first, I was having like a lot of trouble because the rangefinder that I was dealing with had a really like small patch. So it was because I'm really blind. Like I'm so blind. People don't realize this. I'm proper like, you know. Really, my vision is really bad. But like for me to photograph with, obviously you have to align them, so it was quite hard. But like, say for instance with a Mamiya, because it's a bigger rangefinder patch, I found it easier. So for me, it's so easy. Like even though of course I would still, you know, I still go with an SLR and I still go with a rangefinder, etc. I don't mind really, but you know, lately. I think, you know, my next camera that I'm going to pick up is probably going to be a rangefinder, like a new 35mm. Because I recently had to sell my Besta because it was just like, it was like too small. And I was like, you know, I looked like an old lady. Like, what is this? I can't see anything. You know, like it's so bad. I was like, it's so long, and I was like, no, I can't really deal with it. I need to find a rangefinder with a much bigger, you know, or maybe I'll need to find new glasses, or maybe a loop. I'll be like, you know, trying to focus with a loop. I don't know, but like definitely, it was a great experience, and it taught me that I really like the rangefinder system. So I'll be picking up another rangefinder soon. I don't know when, but like, because I don't really need it right now. It's not like I can go anywhere to photograph really, because the UK is still on lockdown. But
Yeah.
like, you know, I have other cameras to have fun with. So yeah.
Amazing.
David, we need to get ourselves a Mamiya 7 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm saving money for another camera, the GF 670, from
Oh, yeah.
Fuji.
from Fuji. So because I fell in love with another rangefinder camera, the Fujica 645. So I don't know. I love that system. I love the ergonomic way that you pick up the camera, and I don't know. I love that it have the belows that contracts itself. So and it's something that I love from that camera. And actually, I didn't use my SLR cameras a lot lately. So I'm also in the rangefinder gang.
I feel like sometimes I was listening to you and it's like, you know, with the photography, you've got like this syndrome, the gear syndrome, right? You try to justify a million ways why that camera is cool, but like ultimately inside you just know that you want it. Like you just know that you want to try with it. So like sometimes I try and like I think out loud, like, why would I need this camera? Well, I like this, I like that. But deep inside me, I know like, oh, I'm addicted. I need to get it. Anyway, let's face it.
And you look yourself in a mirror and like, oh my God, you have a problem, man. But
I did it again.
I did it again. Oops.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah. No, but it's been great. Lovely chat.
Thank you very much, Tatiana.
Let me show you my love story.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And it's Merlin.
This is the one. The Mamiya is 645.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is
I've heard
my love.
so much of that camera. Yeah. I can show you my last pickup. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I'll show you my last.
I will show
my last pickup. Look at this. 12 pounds.
Wow.
It's stupid, but like this is a panoramic camera, right? That is
nice.
It's really, really cheap and it's like actually loaded.
Right.
So like it's all manual, yeah, because you know, like you need to turn, like put this on. I don't know if you can see it, like there, and then like, you know, yeah, it's just so simple. It's like literally I got it because somebody posted on our Reddit group, the Analog Dreamers, like, oh, I picked up this camera. And I was like, what's that? And then I checked the price and I was like, it's cheap. You want it. You get it. So,
you need it.
I don't even care if I need it. I just wanted to have fun. So like, yeah, this is, you know, my having fun camera. But yeah, the Mamiya is actually not here with me. It's actually downstairs because I just, you know, left it there. But I was photographing with it yesterday, and you know, I've been here and there photographing with different cameras. But definitely, I've sold a lot of cameras recently. Like, you know, I just wanted to concentrate more on like specific cameras that I know meaningful to me, meaningful to my work. But yeah, you know.
And actually, we have something in common. We have the same love with the same brand, for the same brand, because I'm using this one, the Mamiya Super Deluxe. So
yeah, Mamiyas.
Mamiya love is Mamiya gang is
Mamiya gang. We're like the Hopper gang, the Mamiya gang.
Yeah.
We have multiple affiliations.
Exactly.
That's cool. Right. Yeah. That's cool.
And we have only 10 minutes, but this was the last session, so
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm also like running out of like battery on my AirPods or whatever it is. I hope it's canceling the you know, noise and whatever is on the background.
Yeah,
hopefully.
It sounds great actually.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So Tatiana, great chat. Thank you for your time. And let me say this in Spanish. Muchísimas gracias por tu tiempo.
Muchas gracias.
No, gracias. Espera. Gracias yo, porque ha sido una gran conversación. Diálogo
o conversación.
Sí, conversación. I don't know. I don't know. I'm at loss of words, but like in multiple languages now. My head is like, oh my God, what are we going to say now? No, but honestly, like it's been a pleasure, or, you know, like it's really, I don't know. I feel like I love having conversations like this with people that, you know, it's about photography, but then it's about like meaningful stuff. It's like, I don't know. I feel like we all grow with things like this, like sharing things with others. So I feel like it's, you know, I'm grateful, you know, it's been fantastic.
Thank you very much.
It's been great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Tatiana, great. Tatiana, this is off the record. Can I borrow some of your photos from Instagram to make the
sure.
post and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use it all. Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Thank
you.
Okay.
Thank
all
you,
right.
Tatiana. Muchas gracias.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.